The harsh reality of black men going their own way. And I'm not going to lie to you, things are tough out there for them. They're constantly discriminated against, and no one wants to help them. So for this video, we will talk about how black males are progressively going MGTOW. Now, why is this? One argument is that there's no longer any reason for them to assist black women. Instead, most black women are superwomen. If you don't understand what I mean, it is the solid black woman schema. Based on what we can see first about this definition, scholars have identified a pattern of behavior called the strong black woman schema. Three main features define this: emotional control, autonomy, and responsibility. Black women who want to be seen as capable must stifle their feelings, appear confident and capable, and shoulder the burdens of others' problems as if they were their own. The schema originated in the intersectional oppression black women endure from societal expectations and stereotypes of enslaved black women. Women have an obligation to act traditionally feminine. As black women, they have a traditional obligation to be emotionally and physically strong. Michelle Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Beyoncé, and Serena Williams are examples of today's strong black women held up as role models. However, a schema like the strong black woman can shift and change through time as societal norms for femininity and power do. Another is that being a decent guy is not valued in the black community, so you feel like you need to stand out. Having a good attitude isn't enough. Also, when there is competition among black men, they become antagonistic towards black women. Furthermore, black men are given the perception that black women are dangerous. One of the most apparent reasons young black men opt to go their own way is that they're reared by a single mother and saw their fathers imprisoned for failing to pay child support. They witnessed how their mothers mistreated them and detained their fathers. As a result, they're less likely to be duped into becoming pregnant by black women. They can't afford a child they didn't want in the first place because of rising living costs. Black men who don't want to deal with the drama of being screamed at for allegedly being incompetent are emotionally depleted. As a result of having to deal with enraged black women, I think another factor deterring black men from dating black women is that dating black men is no longer considered taboo for white and Asian women. Even though many parents from the baby boomer and Generation X are still prejudiced and will not allow their daughters to marry black men, white, Asian, and Latino women are casually dating black guys. Because there has been an extensive racial mixing over the past 20 years, black men will have access to women who are higher in the sexual marketplace. However, when given the option of dating violent black women or less aggressive and nasty white women, black women begin to swirl, reducing the number of black women accessible. Why would black men not go their own way if they could observe how black women treat non-black men differently? They have every right to be angry. These are just a few exceptions I could come up with. Still, in addition to all of them, black guys realize that all women, regardless of ethnicity, are not worth it. Black women's expectations aren't just rising because they have access to white males, who are valued more in the sexual market for whatever reason. It has to do with how nasty all women are becoming in our society. But on the other hand, women in that equation will tell you that there are no longer any real guys because they are unreasonable expectations and no longer limit themselves to men from their own backgrounds. As a substitute, black women will compare black men to white males. When it comes to dating, there is actual swirling. It is growing more common, suggesting that black women have such high expectations for black men because they have experienced higher white status and are now doing the same with those black males. Black guys are especially new to this, but white guys have also dealt with it. Having a stable job and a home no longer suffices for white or Asian men because most men already have it. Instead, you must be wealthy and drive a flashy car. In addition to being well-dressed and having status, you must also be accomplished. All of that may seem much easier when you're a white guy, but keep in mind, you're competing with other white guys. As a result, many white gentlemen are now dating Filipinos, black, and Latin women instead. Once these ladies get a taste of the white man, they won't return. The white guy's schlong may not be as long, but it is thick. According to females, the essay focuses on why black men choose to distance themselves from black women. Still, I believe it would have been more suitable to focus on why black men should do so. Another thing I've forgotten about black ladies is that they want to be entertained. When women generally talk about wanting an educated guy, they're referring to the same thing white women want from white guys. Women clearly indicate they want a man with a higher earning potential, Still, they also mean that they want an intelligent man who knows what he's talking about so that she may have some fun. And their definition of intelligence most notably means having the same ideas as them. Not all college degrees are equal. The second story I'd like to present is about the disappearance of black students at top American universities. I believe more black males will enroll in institutions because they can earn greater earnings and attract more attractive women. When you search online for articles, you'll discover the college industrial complex and what amounts to racism in the classroom. There hasn't been much of a shift in proportion of minorities enrolled at prestigious colleges like MIT and Harvard over the last 20 years. This shows that while many prominent colleges attract many minorities, more minor, newer, and less qualified institutions are expanding their enrollment. It almost appears that the educational system is creating clown colleges for minorities, while maintaining white exclusivity at Ivy League institutions, as it has always been done by places like it to preserve their high criteria for admittance and to advertise that its graduates are amongst the top individuals in the world. This brings me to another reason why black guys are increasingly opting to leave black women behind when competing with males who spend tremendous sums of money on their education but are having difficulty obtaining employment and frequently working and living paycheck to paycheck. Men with better wages and established occupations will have the most success. They scarcely have any debt. As you can see, many women rely on finding a husband with resources to help them pay their bills because these rational women also have college loan debt. They progressively discriminate against highly educated black men, making it easier for them to manipulate and coax an unassuming white man into paying the money. She owes the government when it comes to black males. It would describe them as more true force and lonesome type of men rather than going their own way. They may have ambition and beautiful looks, but if they lack bling, they will not increase the first test with the lady since their economy is increasingly turning about status and dominance. I bring up the fact that black boys are not enrolling in more elite universities in numerous areas here. Consider the ladies around you. They have spent thousands on a purse, while there is less food in their fridge than ever. Women want pricey luxury things despite being poor. Nowadays, most women want a man that resembles Chris Evans and will accept nothing less. They didn't realize that blacks were well on their path to success until the state decided to give them a helping hand in native populations in the United States following the advent of the Social Security state in the 1970s and 1980s. However, most blacks today vote for liberal or socialist administrations to reap the benefits. Native Americans who were never given their own reservations or free government money are faring better than those initially placed on reserves. I suppose the architects of the social welfare state are aware of this and began providing cheese to lactating black women. Is it any surprise that black males avoid black women? I don't blame them for dating persons of different races because they've seen their fathers and grandfathers ruined by them. As a result, many black men are leaving the United States and heading to nations such as Brazil. It was proved in a documentary titled Disgruntled Black American Men in Brazil, how black men in the West treat all women in the West differently than they treat black women. It depicts a group of affluent black men heading to Rio de Janeiro to pursue love. This merely gives you an idea how far black men will go to lead black women and go their own way. These men are wise in that they are leaving and having affairs with women in countries further south because it's obvious that if they bring those women back to the United States, they'll end up being just as corrupted. Men will leave bad relationships and travel halfway around the world to get what they want. Women are often the slowest to accept new trends, so they may remain in the socialist utopia they have created for themselves as the West disintegrates. The trend of men going their own way, MGTOW, has been growing amongst men of all backgrounds. For black men, however, the idea of MGTOW can be especially impactful. In a society that is often deeply patriarchal and oppressive to minorities, both genders are facing challenging social conditions. For black men, this means facing increased discrimination in the workplace, stereotypes of aggression or violence, and discrimination from law enforcement. At times like these, it's understandable why more and more black male adults are turning to MGTOW as a way to control their own destinies and transcend the expectations placed upon them by society. Through MGTOW, they can explore their own goals and ambitions without having to conform to traditional definitions of manhood or masculinity to create a life where they take their journey into their own hands, one based on personal satisfaction rather than external pressures. It's easy to understand why many black men are choosing to go this route when it comes to improving their lives and finding fulfillment. MGTOW is not just a trend. It is becoming a movement in its own right, one that is drastically changing what it means for Black men everywhere to be successful in today's world. MGTOW, Men Going Their Own Way, is a movement that encourages men to stand up for their rights and live for themselves. In the next video, a soldier's wife cheats on him after only 2 months of deployment. Hear his story and see how MGTOW has helped him move on.